All right, so we're back here on another Couch Coach Live. Couch Coaches, we are back after taking a bad week last week. We are here. What's going on, Maui?
Oh man, same old man. Like I was telling you off air, it's a lot of stuff going on, man.
Oh
So
yeah,
much, it's so interesting what's going on. But how you been?
everything's good, man. Just working, grinding, man. Just same old with me. Ain't nothing changed.
I got you.
Yeah. So we got a guest, man. We got a guy Thad from What the Game Mean to Me podcast with our guy Jelani. What's going on with that?
What's good? What's good, man? Appreciate y'all having me on.
Yes,
Man.
sir, man. We had to definitely, after we did the mock draft a few weeks ago, we had to, get you on and get you situated. But
Yeah,
yeah,
for
man.
sure.
Yeah. So, man, we got a great show lined up for you guys. We'll talk about Drew Brees' retirement. We'll talk about free agency. And we'll have our guy Josh come in. We'll talk about the Final Four. And I actually have my official bracket that I'm going to submit to our Off the Ball Network tournament challenge. If I lose this, I gotta wear a Duke hat. So I have put some time and effort in this bracket, and I will not lose because that's going to be the most embarrassing moment of 2021. So let's kick that intro real quick, fellas. All right, so we're back here as we teased earlier. Let's talk about Drew Brees. So obviously, I guess the news isn't now official that Drew Brees has retired. So his 20-year illustrious career does come to an end, and his 15 years with the New Orleans Saints has come to an end. And Drew Brees will be riding the sunset, be working for NBC next fall. And he got a nice little gig. He'll be working Sunday Night Football as a studio analyst, and also he'll be working a little Notre Dame football. So shout out to Drew Brees, man. He landed on his feet
Right.
after that. So I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go around the horn, fellas. Your thoughts on the retirement of Drew Brees? I'm gonna go with you first, Dad.
For me, great career,
Yeah.
best free agent signed in the NFL history, first ballot Hall of Famer. He completely turned around the Saints franchise. I could go on and on about the accolades. 13-time Pro Bowler, 5-time All Pro. He threw for 5,000 yards 5 times, which has never been done. And the people that came in second only did it one time. Most passing yards in NFL history, highest completion percentage, and most completions. So, all around he dominated. He shredded the stat book. Mahomes might catch up to him, but it's gonna take a little minute for that. So, great career all in all. And like you said before, smooth transition into his second career with NBC and Sunday Night Football. So shout out to Drew. Great 20-year career, and I hope he enjoys it.
Big time. Your thoughts, Maui?
Same exactly what that say. Like, he was an undersized quarterback. I look at him like almost like a underdog a little bit too, because they picked Rivers over him. You know what I mean? So them being in New Orleans when everything, was rough with Katrina and everything. So, and then he did it. To me, he did everything. I feel like if you want to be a quarterback, he did everything. He got a Super Bowl MVP, did everything. You know what I mean? And, shouts out to him. I know it was hard transition because I felt like he should have retired last year. And maybe, Teddy, I thought Teddy Bridgewater did pretty good with the team. But, I'm happy, man. He made his decision. You know what I'm saying? He's healthy. You know what I'm saying? And it seemed like he found out what was the probably most important thing with him is to, spend time with his family, big transition.
Yeah. And that's funny. And we talked about this, I think, right after the loss to Tampa Bay in the divisional round. And it's funny as you mentioned about Phillip Rivers, where essentially they retired in the same year, which is so crazy to think that San Diego was going on so quote of a youth movement, quote unquote, as far as getting, getting rid of Drew Brees in place of him. which it's definitely amazing. Like you said, what he's done for New Orleans. I mean, he really saved their franchise. I mean, when we, like you said, we go down, this probably will be one of the greatest free agent transactions, NFL history, because I mean, this team was literally on their way to San Antonio. It was so many different places they were going to go, and this team wasn't, this team was going to be just non-existent, especially after Hurricane Katrina. He really rallied that team, and they, became a pretty. I mean, we think about, and it's funny because I don't want to show my age, Dad, but when we think about it, back then we used to think of New Orleans Saints as like Archie Manning, he was the one that was like the face of that franchise as far as an all-time great in that organization. And now you look at Drew Brees, who really transformed it all, and you could just tell, like, even after that loss, it was it for him. I mean, especially after the whole injuries that caught up with him with the rib injury and all that, and he just wasn't the same ever since that injury. He hasn't been the same really in quite some time, but we kind of knew the end was near, and definitely a huge shout out to Drew Brees. Definitely looking forward to seeing him on Sunday Night Football, and man, definitely Notre Dame football. That's going to be kind of fun. I'm very, and also I think he's going to be involved in the Olympics as well. So I would definitely want to see this new kind of Drew Brees, this new era that for Drew Brees. But yeah, man, definitely huge shout out to Drew Brees. So fellas, we talked about the biggest free agent transaction in 2005. Well, 2006. Let's talk about the current day free agency news, which we'll kind of go back to Monday, where 2021 is very interesting. I mean, you got two different things that has happened this year. Tom Brady was drunk on a boat, and then Bill Belichick spending money. And so let's talk about the Patriots acquisition first. We'll go around. I'll kind of set it up. So essentially, what the Patriots did in these last 2 days, they signed Matthew Judon, also Jalen Mills. Also, they showed up their wide receiver core with Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, and man, they got two tight ends and Hunter Henry and John U. Smith. I'm sorry, Thad. Well, no, he played for Jacksonville, didn't he?
No, he played for Tennessee.
No, that's right. He played Tennessee. That's right. I keep on forgetting. I get it all confused. But yeah, so I want to go around the horn, fellas. Your thoughts on the Patriots' moves in this offseason. I'm going to go with you first, Thad.
I love them. I love them. They address pretty much almost every need for the most part. Speaking of John Smith, I was hoping we tried to go get him. Every time we played him, he tore us up. Our safeties, linebackers, nobody could guard him. But they addressed all their needs. Hunter Henry's a dominant young tight end. They're both two young guys. John Smith's a good, he's I don't know how to phrase it, but he can do a lot of things. He lines up in the backfield. Some he can line up out wide. He can do all that. They got some, solid receivers. Nelson Aguilar, he'll drop a few passes here and there, but he was pretty solid last year in Las Vegas. And Kendrick Bourne, he's a pretty solid, receiver. So, overall on the offensive side of the ball, they address the needs because their tight ends, the two they drafted last year were terrible, and Bill Belichick, he finally, realized that. So he had to make a move quickly. And they got a D tackle, on the defensive side, they didn't really address too many people besides Jalen Mills in that D tackle. So overall, the guys that opted out last year, they're coming back. So, for the most part, I love what he did, and I think they're going to be right back in the driver's seat. Not competing for a Super Bowl berth, but I think they'll be in a playoff conversation this year for sure.
Yeah, definitely huge shout out to our guy Stephen Gillespie breaking the game. And definitely, yeah, Henry he is a Razorback. Arkansas is in the house.
I didn't know he was Arkansas.
I literally forgot about that. And definitely, yeah, man. Maui, any thoughts on the Patriots?
Hey man, you got to do what you got to do to get back where you're supposed to be at. They just saw Tom go in there and do what he do. Got everything he asked for. Motivated everybody. So you're back against the wall. You know what I mean? Say, okay, if they gonna make a run, I gotta do what I gotta do too. Me personally, just, hey man, you a manager, you a GM. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get out there and do what you need to do to get your team together to get what you need to be at. And your division is not as weak as it used to be. The Bills is playing. Miami's coming. You know what I'm saying? The Jets made some moves too. So you got to do what you do. Like you still intimidated people because you was the Patriots. You know, now people ain't as intimidated. The teams ain't as intimidated as they was before. So you got to do what you got to do. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. And the Patriots, that, like you said, they were solid. And I think that's the thing where even though people may look at it on the surface like they overpaid for certain things, but they got what they
Right.
needed. And that's
You
what
got what you
that's
need, man.
it's kind of like how kind of wanted Washington to be kind of methodical and be smart and have these little cost-effective type of moves where you look at those type of standpoint where he feels the needs, especially from that wide receiver position. They took care of that. Then the two tight end sets, which I think that's going to definitely help them because New England has struggled when it comes to tight end production in the last like 2 years. So they get that going, and then it's almost to a point where if I'm Miami or the Jets, I know the Texans ain't taking our calls, but we might have to fly down. We got to get something done because because New England is like blowing them out as far as because I still think this team is a playoff team. I think definitely now, and I think the smartest move was to keep Cam Newton. I think
Right.
bring him back in for the second year, a little bit more familiar with this offense, and he'll have some weapons. And we're not gonna say like all these guys are gonna be like Pro Bowls. And then you got to think about it, that defense is gonna be good as well.
Mhm.
Just bringing everybody back from the quote unquote opt outs, so they'll be back next year. So you get that, and then get in, especially bringing in like Judon. I think Judon is like a perfect piece for that team, coupled with already what they have on that defense. You bring it back Hightower, you bring it back Chung. Like you got a legitimate defense that can compete. And if I'm if I'm Miami and the Jets, I need to try to get Deshaun Watson as soon as possible.
Right.
It's starting to get real in the AFC East, and we ain't trying to be lagging behind.
And like I said, that division used to be known as, it seemed like it was weak. A lot of that division starting to move a little bit, man. Like them Bills is for real.
Oh,
what
yeah.
I mean? To me, when you look at it, you look like that's the team. You know what I mean? So you got to go after that team, at least win the division. You know what I'm saying? Bring that dominance back.
Yeah, and some other key because we were also. So what you guys thoughts on Ryan Fitzpatrick signing with the Washington football team? I want to hear y'all just some raw thoughts.
I know it was coming. I know it was coming. You want me to go?
Yeah, you go first. You go first.
I got you. You know what's funny? I feel like, and you guys are more into this than I am. Is there a market for like a quarterback that can start, but is really a second string? Because like Tyrod, he got he got signed. What was it? The Texans signed him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I look at Fitzpatrick the same way. Like he could be a starter, and he can do what he need to do, but he's not going to be the franchise quarterback. So I felt like with you guys, with the Washington team, I think it's perfect. He gonna bring it. You know what I mean? And then I'm guessing, do you feel like that quarterback that y'all got, was it Heineke? He's gonna eventually be the starter?
I don't think so. I was hoping. I really wanted Sam Darnold. Honestly, if I be real with you, I wanted Sam Darnold. I think just because of the simple fact of his youth. I get the move because I think they look at because his team is a championship level defense. And to me, if you get a guy that don't make mistakes, a la Alex Smith last year, who went 5-1 and pretty much led us to go into the playoffs. If you can get that same type of production where a guy doesn't throw the football over and you take care of business on defense, I think I see where they're going with that. But I still think we need to find a quarterback within the next like year or two. Like for real, like a solid guys. There, your thoughts?
I agree with you. You guys need a quarterback soon. He's just a little 1-year rental. Maybe you guys draft a quarterback. Where you guys are picking in the 20s, so
yeah,
I don't think a quarterback will be. Yeah, I don't think a quarterback will be there. The quarterback y'all want, so it's going to be tough. Sam Darnold is a good option in trade. I mean, I like the signing. He'll win y'all some games. He's better than what y'all had last, in my opinion, with Haskins and Alex Smith. So with that defense, I could see if they play like they did last year and they get better production out of the quarterback, I could see 10-6, 9-7. But y'all do need a quarterback soon because McLaurin, he's a dynamic young receiver, and y'all need to help him out with a quarterback. Don't waste his talent with mediocre quarterback play.
Big time.
Right, right.
And another sign that I want to talk about, Bud Dupree goes to your rival, Thad, to the
Yeah.
Tennessee Titans. I'm gonna go with your thoughts first, Maui. Your thoughts on the departure of your guy, Bud Dupree.
Hey man, I think when when you put these shows together, I think you should do it together because I'm starting to take this personal. Okay, I am so hurt. I am so. Isn't that the game that he got hurt was against the Titans? Wasn't that y'all? Who's? Oh, you a Titan fan? That?
Oh no, Jaguars.
Okay,
I'm a
okay, okay,
rival.
okay.
I'm a rival.
But I'm a little hurt, man, because I felt like once Bud Dupree got hurt, they wasn't the same.
Yeah.
The defense wasn't the same, man. And I don't know, it just seemed like I have not given the Steelers any of my energy this offseason because it's like I don't know. I'm still hurt from what 2-3 years ago when they didn't sign Le'Veon, and then all the tech what Ben did to Antonio. I'm still hurt by that. You don't just you do what you need to do to get. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. So I haven't really given them my energy this season, and I am extremely hurt Bud Dupree's gone. But happy for him. I think they said his contract it's a lot of incentives in it, they were saying. So, but I'm hurting. And I think Tennessee was actually pretty good last year. And I think that with Bud Dupree, I think we got a little weaker and I think they got a little stronger.
Yeah. Dad, man, you'll be playing Bud Dupree twice this year, man. Your thoughts on Bud Dupree?
For Tennessee, it's a good signing because last year they got Clowney and Vic Beasley, and they didn't really help out at all. They had like less than 20 sacks, something like that. That's crazy. But it's a good signing for them. They had no pass rush, so it'll help out. It's not good for us, but hopefully our tackles, Cam Robinson and Juwan Taylor, can hold it down. But overall, good signing. Hopefully he recovers quickly from that ACL because that's nothing to play with. But
yeah,
like Maui said, that's probably why the contract is heavily incentive based because they got to see, if he comes back 100% or back to his old self. So, but good signing for Tennessee. They needed that.
Yeah, big time. And what's crazy about it all is with this signing. At this point, I don't know if Steven's still listening. My See You Sunday colleague. Well, we did an NFL pregame show last fall, and we always talked about how Tennessee it's like the inverse of what you would think. You look at a guy like a Mike Vrabel is like this defensive. You would think he's like a defensive savant, but his defense is terrible. But then you bring in a guy like him who can set the tone. I like the acquisition with them. I'm not going to say he's going to miraculously fix their defensive issues overnight, but he's a key piece to help that team, as far as going forward. So that's why I like that deal. It's kind of sneaky. It's a sneaky good deal, and hopefully it can help their defense out tremendously because, like we said, that defense was just atrocious. And it's weird to think like we even talked about this all the time on Saturdays, where it's almost like if you didn't know football, but you knew that their coach was like a great defensive guy, but then his defense is trash, you would think his biggest weakness on that team would be his offense, not his defense. So but it definitely helps them going forward. So man, it's a great deal for them. And one more signing before we bring in Josh. Thoughts. So what do you guys thoughts on Joe Thuney going to the Chiefs? Your thoughts on that, Thad?
But it was a good sign, and what they needed, they overpaid, but I feel like they had to because they let both their tackles go. I'm pretty sure they're going to bring Schwartz back on some type of like restructured deal, but it's something they needed. You guys saw the Super Bowl. I don't really need to say too much.
All right. Any thoughts, Maui?
No, man, but I got thoughts on Andy Dalton. I wanted to know what y'all think.
Yes, you know what? Before we get to I thought about Thuney for 1 sec, but so the Thuney deal, I think that's interesting because with him, he's kind of like we talked about this a few weeks ago, as far as like the hybrid of offensive linemen where he can play a guard or tackle spot. So guard or center spot. So that's going to be definitely key for them because they definitely as far as if we looked at how they were in the Super Bowl, where they were kind of, scrambling when it came to this situation where it kind of was like a kind of, by committee essentially. So that definitely helps them. And like you said, and I think they might sign those guys back, especially like, look at Mitchell Schwartz, possibly a cheaper deal because, they need to revamp their line. But Andy Dalton going to Chicago, I kind of low key like it.
Me too.
Because I think at this point, at this point, you could definitively say like Russell Wilson's not going to the Bears. With that signing, lets me know. Yeah, I think that's water under the bridge. But I kind of like it because I think that's all they really need. I don't think they need. They just need a guy almost similar to like a Ryan Fitzpatrick that essentially manages the game, don't turn the ball over, let the defense do their thing.
Right. I mean, I'm happy for him, man. I think he went down to Dallas to do what he, got his little paycheck, played a little bit, and then he found him a spot. Sometimes you got to take a step back to move forward. I'm happy for him. I don't think, I don't think he would, no disrespect. I don't think he'd like win a Super Bowl, but I don't think he's like a scrub quarterback. You know what I mean? I don't think he's a scrub. I just think that Dallas, they still got some issues there, some drama issues that they need to get, structured. And I think he was like, thank God I can get out of here and go up here. Hopefully the Bears situation better. But according to Chris and what's your man? Your man is still some issues in Chicago also.
Oh, we talking about Joe. My bad, Mitchell, Joe Montana Trubisky.
I was talking about the owner, and it must have been he's okay.
You talking about the owner for the Bears, or you talking about?
Remember we just had that conversation about, and you were saying that
Ryan Pace and Virginia McCaskey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So definitely free agency definitely, and it's one thing that's the beauty about this time of year. You got free agency, the league New Year's tomorrow, so this is New Year's Eve league. I mean, New Year's league, New Year Eve per se. So and then the new season begins. But this time of year definitely is a moment that we all have been waiting for the last 2 years. It just feels great. The first time this decade that I can fill out a bracket, and it's just such a great thing. So, without further ado, we got to bring in our other guests. We are here. We're gonna bring in our guy Josh. Let's bring him in here in the queue. What's going on, Josh?
What's up, guys? Thank you for having me today. Because it's very much the wonderful time of the year, March Madness, BTP babies, bracket busters, Cinderellas.
We are here 2 years in the making. This is the first time, like I said, this first time I filled out a bracket this decade, and it just feels amazing.
Amazing.
Yes. So, Josh, let's get started. First thing I want to talk to you. I think I hear an echo.
Hear an echo?
Yeah. Got like headphones or something?
I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. But yeah, definitely hear those echoes. But so the NCAA tournament is here. Any thoughts on the bracket before we continue with Josh? Dad, your thoughts?
Nothing too much. Like I said before, this was the least I watched this year, but the good bit I watched, I'm pretty confident in the teams I got going far.
And I told you,
Go ahead.
I'm just gonna get the information, because I really haven't watched much this season either. But I knew coming in here that I was gonna get some information. So I want to figure out what games to watch, because I ain't did no bracket or anything, man. I'm so far from going from that.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely a great tournament. It's so many good matchups, and it's going to be fun. It's definitely going to be definitely a fun experience.
Yeah.
We get Josh in. Let's see.
I think this is the year though that the big time schools, like the top seeds, go far. You know how somebody you always pick to go far.
First question.
Oh no, we'll get you. We'll get you going. We just restarted. But yeah, we got you. We got you straight. All right. You good, Josh? Can you hear me?
I think he froze.
He froze. Oh shoot.
I froze.
Okay, I think you're
Am I-
good. So
I'm good.
yeah, we get you in a sec. So yeah, what was your thoughts there, real quick, before we get to Josh?
Just quick, this is the year, everybody picks the top seeds to go far and they end up getting upsetted. Hopefully this is the year I filled out my bracket that the top seeds I pick go that far. But it's probably not gonna happen. But I'm hopeful for the next 48 hours.
I know, right? Right. So Josh, your first question I want to ask you tonight. We'll go around the horn as well. Who is the number? Let me pull that graphic up for you so you can get that squared away. So, who is the number one seed likely not to make the Sweet 16?
Well, my answer is going to be shocking to you boys. I'm going to say Illinois.
Yes, sir.
Because
What?
Cud Caningham, West Virginia, if they don't get upset by Morehead State, Tennessee, Iowa, Chicago could be a tough. Them or Georgia Tech could be a very tough task in the second round. Michigan, yeah, I mean, you can argue Illinois or Michigan, but I'm going Illinois because they just were barn busters in the tournament. And if you look at past years and stuff like that, the team who was the hottest in the tournaments for the conferences usually got upset. Oklahoma State, a Baylor. So I'm saying Illinois, even though I like Kofi, but I'm going to say Illinois.
Dad.
I agree 100%. I know that sounds, I saw your guys' reaction, but out of the four number one seeds, they have the toughest matchup. Georgia Tech, they're a scrappy team. They won the ACC, had the ACC Player of the Year, and they went 5-3 versus top 25 team. So they're a scrappy team. I could see it happening. I know Michigan. They'll probably play UNC. No. They play LSU, and Gonzaga will play. That would be a tough one too. But I think Georgia Tech is the best out of those four that they would number one seeds would have to play. So I'm gonna go with Illinois. But they're not gonna lose. But if I had to pick, I'm going with Illinois. But it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know, but the people that I was watching said Michigan, and I'm hearing you guys say Illinois. So why would these gentlemen pick Michigan? They said they had the hard. Felt like they would lose because they had the hardest bracket. Why would they say that? If you don't mind me asking, and you guys said Illinois.
Well, I mean, I totally agree with them, but at the same time, looking at past tournaments and stuff like that,
right?
I just feel like the experts get some of it wrong. I mean, yes, they're missing livers, but if Florida State, you're telling me that they're gonna make it. I mean, like past years, they could get upset in the first round. So, and Texas too. I mean, Texas is great. I mean, nothing against Longhorns, but sometimes they're not on the same page this year. Even though they're a 3 seed. UConn, I could see them making a run again. Alabama, same thing as the Florida State team I just talked about, especially with Rick Pitino being the INO's coach. You never know. So, I mean.
So, yeah, mine is Michigan because, I'm gonna tell you one thing, Josh. You in this next 30 minutes, you're gonna be like you're caping hard for the ACC, but part of me, well, just in general, I think it's Michigan. For some odd reason, that LSU matchup is very looming, and it's kind of like it's weird, and it's funny how you talked about like as far as teams in the conference championships who kind of I wouldn't say. Yeah. I think with like LSU, especially them almost beating Alabama the other night, and then you just look at just how LSU was just loaded. I mean, you got guys on that team. You got Cameron Thomas, Trenton Warford, and Javonte Smart. And those guys are averaging 17 plus a game respectively. And I just see that, like you said, the whole thing, and of course Isaiah Livers is kind of low hanging fruit that obviously he's not going to be there. So that's another thing where you look at like, okay, that could be a situation. But yeah, I definitely think if a team that a number one seed that won't make the Sweet 16 would definitely be Michigan. It would be Michigan in my personal opinion. But yeah. So, did you want to do matchups to watch, Maui? What for Josh?
Yeah. Let me ask you, what do you what is okay? How can I word this? What is your like? What is the team that you feel like is real special? Like the team, like one of those teams that you say, man, this is a really team that everybody should watch. I don't know if they're going to win, but they put together well and they're exciting. Like, what team would you pick? What would you think that? If it's more than one, let me know.
This tournament's whole balance, but
okay, that's a great answer.
And there's a lot you can pick from, but I'm gonna go Loyola Chicago. If we're gonna go lower seeds, because of the defense. I mean, like he said with Georgia Tech, they're kind of scrappy in their own right, with the defensive side of the ball. The other one would be Oklahoma State in the same bracket. Cade Cunningham is an absolute beast. And then the players around him, solid. So those two teams I would say watch out for. Because you could pick a Gonzaga, you can pick Alabama, you could pick Houston, you could pick Illinois. But for a team that come out of nowhere, I would say the winner of either Georgia Tech or Loyola Chicago could give you that team.
Okay. Thad, any ones that you're looking at on your radar?
Not really too many. Potential matchup with Illinois and Oklahoma State in the Sweet 16 should be a good one. But other than that, not too much. Maybe, the Final Four and Elite Eight, there'll be some good matchups there, but not any that stand out early on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like Josh said, a lot of good matchups overall. Like a lot of good teams in this tournament. A lot of teams that are 8 or 9 seeds that could potentially be 4 or 5 seeds. So good tournament overall.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's one thing. And that was like the initial thought. When we did the show on Sunday, we were like, especially in the ACC, when you're looking at like North Carolina being the highest seed at being 8th, and you got a team. Well, UVA is 4th, but when you think about it, when you got like a Georgia Tech. You got Florida State is there. Then Virginia Tech is a 10th seed, which is deadly. When you sit down and you think about it, like as far as them being a 10th seed, they were like 3rd in the ACC, and they were a 10th seed. So it's kind of like it's like you said, it's a balanced tournament where you look at those type of teams that might have been slated in a different tier, but it's just the way this tournament is. But yeah, it's gonna be definitely interesting. So, Josh, I want to get your thoughts on who is the. Well, I'm going around the horn, fellas. I'm gonna first start with you first, Josh. The lower seed likely to reach the Sweet 16.
I got 2 here: Colgate and Syracuse. Colgate is just like Arkansas; they run up and down, press all day. That's going to be an absolute track meet, and I think that's going to be an absolute great game. Syracuse, it depends if Buddy right line is absolutely hitting. And plus that zone, it's always in your brackets. Syracuse always sneaks in, and you take him out in the first game, and then they bite you. At least they bite me, so I'm not going to fall for the Orangemen's case this year. So I think Syracuse will make a Sweet 16 run this year.
Dad, your thoughts?
We agree again, which is kind of crazy, but that's my only team. I got Syracuse. Like Josh said, the coach's son, if he's hot, they can go a long way. That 2-3 zone is always very, very lethal, and their offense is very efficient. I'm not saying they have an easy matchup, but San Diego State and I think they can beat West Virginia. they got some players, but I think they have an easier road to the Sweet 16 than the other lower seeds, and they always play good defense. They can limit, force a lot of turnovers and keep the game low scoring. They always have a shot. So Syracuse is my pick.
Yeah. And it's funny, the irony, we talked about Michigan being the one that's outed. But the team that will make the Sweet 16, I think Michigan State. I have Michigan State. I think they can beat. They can definitely beat UCLA. I definitely think they can beat BYU. And they're just battle tested because I think if they go on to beat Michigan State, then they will play which I think, and this is another one, Josh. I think it's going to be a little tricky. I wouldn't bet the mortgage or bet the farm on it, but I got a strange feeling Abilene Christian going to beat Texas. I felt that for the last 48 hours, and the feeling hasn't shooken yet. And I think they play Michigan State. That's another one. Josh, you might want to close your ears. But
I know.
Another one Winthrop. Winthrop. I'm telling you.
They're good. They're good.
Winthrop, I'm telling you, that's another team I've had a weird wake up in the morning. It may be different Friday or whenever you guys play, but Winthrop, because I think they could beat Villanova, because obviously without Colin Gillespie, I think that's going to definitely hurt them, even though Villanova's still a good team. But then Purdue comes, and I'm like, like Winthrop might the boys from South Carolina. It might be a little different. I don't know, Josh. Sorry.
Honestly, I went back and forth on that pick too. I picked Purdue because I'm a Purdue fan in basketball and a Notre Dame fan in football. But anyway, yeah, North Texas is also one that could possibly upset Purdue. It depends if Williams is just an absolute beast in the paint. And if Ivy just absolutely goes off for these games. If both of them go in and out like they did in the Big Ten tournament, it's going to be a close game with Winthrop, but I think Purdue will pull it off. There's a bunch of teams to look at.
I know.
Georgetown is another team.
Yeah, because you think about it, because they play Colorado, and then you think about it if UNC Greensboro and Florida State wins, they got a shot. But for some odd reason, like I said, I'm gonna cape for the ACC tonight and probably forever. So, but a part of me, I think I'm telling you, Florida State. I guess maybe just because I follow them a little bit more intimately, obviously with a Tar Heel fan, and I just like their length. I like their depth, especially we talked about the other day, like Scotty Barnes is literally like a video game character. Somebody, a guy that's 6'9" and can do just about everything, 225, and he's coming off your bench and he makes, so I like Florida State, but like you said, that whole Georgetown too, because you think you're riding away from the Big East, and then like you said, they beat the crap out of Creighton, and that was like out of nowhere, out the sky, and it's like that's something that we can't ignore either. I mean, you beat a top 20. I think that time they were what top 20 ranked team at that particular time. Yeah,
I think top 25.
Yeah, they were top. Yeah, at that time.
And like I said before, Georgetown could have a Big East hangover too and lose to Colorado as well, because they're no slouch as well. But the Hoyas are going with Patrick Ewing. Oh boy. Ooh.
I know. I know. It's so crazy, but
March Madness, you only got to be hot at the right time. That's all it takes.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. So I'm gonna go with players to watch. Correct? You want to do players to watch, Maui?
No, I'm good. Y'all do your thing.
Okay. But yeah, so the thing, and like you said, this is just you just get hot at the right time, and then this is gonna be definitely a different year because of the simple fact that you're not traveling. So you're pretty much going to be – so that's going to be another kind of an interesting way of kind of how the tournament is going to be. So you don't – that's going to be another interesting of how that's going to play out. But so I'm going to go with the next one, fellas. player most likely to dominate the tournament. A guy, I put it this way, a guy that will say, dag, like he had a, we think about the 2021 NCAA tournament, who was a guy that you can predict that we'll, put a name to this tournament, essentially, who could dominate this tournament. I'm gonna go with you first, Thad.
I might be going with the obvious pick, but I'm going with Cade Cunningham, the potential number 1 overall pick. First team All-American, averaged 26-3, pretty dominant freshman year. He's about 6'6", 6'7", can pretty much do it all. He can operate, he can facilitate, he can get his own shot, he can play deep when he wants to. He can do it all. So it's kind of hard for me to say that because I don't see them getting past Illinois in the Sweet 16. But those 3 games he plays, like he could, potentially average 28, 10, and 5, some crazy stat line. So that's my pick for the person that's going to dominate the tournament. Or I can go with one of the Gonzaga guys if I had to go with somebody else.
Yeah.
They have plenty of people.
They got 3 lottery picks. It's crazy. Josh, your thoughts?
I'm gonna go with Gonzaga's center, Tommy. He's an absolute hole in the paint, and it's gonna be really hard for Oklahoma, the winner of Creighton, UC Barba, to even compete with them down low. I mean, this dude is an absolute hole down low, and Suggs on the outside, in and out. And obviously, Cade Cunningham is one of the top players. And watch out for the UConn guy, Buck. I think Buck Knight or something like that. I mean, he's an absolute stud as well. And I feel like he might have a Kimball Walker kind of like tournament. So those are my 3 that I would watch. Absolutely dominate because, like I said before, the post game, it's starting to come back a little bit. The post game's starting to come back a little bit. Tommy, absolute haul down low, and for Gonzaga.
Yeah, big.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh no, what's up?
Well, it's funny that I heard you guys. I don't know the gentleman's name, but I've been hearing a lot of people saying it's a shooting tournament. They was like, hey, if you got if you hitting, then most likely you're gonna win the game. And it's so interesting that I'm hearing you guys speak about dudes in the paint. So they was like, if your team is not shooting well, then you're gonna have to figure out a way to win without, without if you're not hitting those shots. So if it's people in the paint getting a free throw line, this and that. So I'm hearing, I don't know the gentleman's name. I haven't watched him, but I heard some people speak about a young man that played for Oklahoma State was saying that he shoots the ball well. Do you know what I'm talking about? Anybody?
I know who you're talking about. I just can't think of the name right this second.
Right. They were speaking. They was like, man, he really could shoot the ball well. So I don't know the gentleman's name, but I'm gonna say that's the dude I'm gonna say you should look out for. But do you agree that it's a shooting tournament? A shooting man tournament?
I disagree. If you
disagree? Okay.
I disagree because in a lot of long tournaments, it's whoever can play the best defense, whoever can make the best points. Because like I just said with Syracuse, if Buddy Boeheim is not hitting, they're not going to go far.
Right.
So you can't live and die by 3. Most of the teams that are going to go far in this tournament, it's going to be in and out. It's going to be a balanced attack. So, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Is when I look at a guy who I think can take over a game, and it's going to be Ayo. I know I'm gonna kill his last name. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Ayo from Illinois. Put it that way. He's one of those guys who I think can take over. Especially look at this tear ever since he pretty much hurt his nose. He's been the masked man for the last almost a few weeks now, and I think he's going to have a good run. I definitely see him as he's already an All-American. So you look at that, and then I look at that. There's another guy that I think that could definitely have a tremendous impact. He's going to have a kind of a dominant run, especially. And I look at Illinois making a deep run. I know, much to the chagrin of everybody here at the round table, I think they're going to be done. They're going to be done this weekend. So, but I definitely think he'll be around for at least maybe a weekend or two, possibly three. But we'll talk about our Final Fours momentarily. But big time. But that's the guy who I definitely think is going to have an immediate impact and kind of the guy that we're going to kind of remember this tournament by. But and then also, like you said, honorable mention the Gonzaga guy, especially another guy, we talked about the embarrassing of riches as far as Gonzaga. You talked about Drew earlier, Josh, as far as what he's doing, and then Cody Gispert. Those guys are just, those they could be NBA guys, next year. So that's another thing when you look at those guys and just an embarrassing of riches with Gonzaga, and then those the guys who I'm looking for in this as far as who's going to dominate, who's going to kind of put a stamp in this tournament. So I'm gonna put you guys on a hot seat. Let's do Final Four, fellas. I'm gonna go with you first, Thad. Your Final Four.
Yeah, don't get on me for this. Like I said, I'm making two brackets too. Like this one was the one I made in like 20 minutes, so it's a little rush, 20, 30 minutes. But I'm going with Gonzaga, Michigan, Baylor, and Houston is a surprise.
Okay.
That's my Final Four.
Josh, who you got?
I got Baylor, Gonzaga, Michigan, and Oklahoma State.
Interesting. Right. So I'm gonna go with Gonzaga, Alabama. Alabama.
That's not a bad pick.
Ohio State and Illinois. Ooh. Yeah. And it's funny because in some of mine, I own a beat in Alabama. So it's kind of like, it's like really like weird than me having Alabama going all the way up to the Final Four. And then one of them, I got them losing to Iona. So that's a tournament for you. But this will be my official Final Four that I'm going to submit to somebody's pool. I don't know. I haven't decided. Might be your challenge, Josh. Might be Off the Ball Network one. Might be the one for my job. One of these, this official bracket is going somewhere. I don't know if it's going to win me money or I'm going to look stupid. But, so, that one. So, the final, the ultimate question. Who is in the national championship and who's going to win? I'm going to go with you first, Dad. Who you got winning the national championship and who's the runner-up?
Again, like I said before, I always pick the top seeds and it always ends up not happening. But I'm going with Baylor and Gonzaga. It was supposed to be the rematch because they were supposed to play earlier in the season. It got canceled because of COVID. And I'm going to go with Baylor. Like I said, I got a little homie that plays for Baylor right now. He's one of their shooters, one of the best shooting teams in the nation. So I feel like that'll be the difference. They're a little undersized, and that'll be tough with Gonzaga's big men in the paint. But I think the shooting will be the difference, and they'll catch fire this game and bring a championship back to Waco. So I'm going with Baylor.
Yeah.
Waco.
Man. Yeah, oh God. Right. Out of all places. Yeah, man. Dad, tell your boy pack his lunch for Sunday, man. Them boys from Chapel Hill gonna give him some fits. Get them ready. Get them ready. Get them ready, Dad. Josh.
Good pick. I'm picking the same. Except I'm going Gonzaga for the national championship. I love Scott Drew from being here close to Valparaiso, Indiana, Homer. But I'm going to pick Gonzaga. It's just they're too well-rounded, and I feel like they're going to just finally be the only other team besides Indiana to win without the season.
Yeah. So my final, I have Gonzaga versus Illinois, and I think Gonzaga will take it. And like we said, this tournament is going to be weird for so many different reasons. And I still always believe in whoever has the most NBA talent is going to win. I know even though we've had certain cases where it's been debunked, we look at teams like George Mason, VCU, other teams, hell, even Gonzaga, in their various runs in this 20-year run they have. And I think it's time, like you said, I think it's time for an undefeated team to win a national championship, definitely. But the last time was 76 with Indiana. And I think they've came far. I mean, they were in the same predicament, 4 years ago and lost to North Carolina. I didn't mean to say that, but I mean, it happened.
Yeah, okay.
It slipped. But they were another team that was, came to the national championship undefeated, and then, they lost their first game in that predicament. But I think this team is a lot different than that 2017 team. Like we talked about, these guys got 3 guys that are going to be, we talked about them earlier, guys who are going to definitely be in the NBA next year and can have a good impact on whoever they go. And I just think, and then this is a different tournament. We kind of alluded to it earlier, where these guys aren't traveling. They're not, they're not going home after, the first, like if you make the Sweet 16, you get to go back to school and kind of, be like the big man on campus for the week, and then you fly back out. I think it's gonna be a war of attrition. I think it's gonna be, whoever, and it's gonna be like, it comes really down to, I think, a lot of the coaching, a lot of the mental things, because these guys you're literally not going nowhere. Like they even said, the only congregation you're really going to have is going to be probably when you play. So, and it's just more so how the preparation during the week is going to be crucial. I think all of this. And I think, like you said, I think Mark Few has done a fantastic job with this team, and I think now it's time to kind of take this mid-major and turn them into a major power. And he's definitely has turned this team that we used to look at as a Cinderella team. And it's so crazy how we've evolved to that. Like in the turn of the century, they were like they were the Cinderella team that everybody looked at. Oh yeah, they can make a run. They can make it to a Sweet 16. But now I think they're championship level. I mean, like we talked about Cody, Drew, and Jalen. That's Jalen Suggs. I mean, the freshman sensation, man. We talk about Cade Cunningham. We talk about other guys, but he's another guy that I think, not a sleeper, but we know it, but nobody's really, like you said, your air quotes, Josh, experts. But they know what's up, but they don't really talk about it, because I think that's that West Coast stuff as well. So yeah, man. So yeah. So definitely appreciate you for coming on, Josh, man. And Merry March Madness to you, my friend. And we'll definitely be down the road. And coincidentally, in 2 weeks we'll have the Elite Eight. So we'll link up during that time. Maybe we'll do like a little watch during that night. I think it just depends on when the games fall. We might switch the timing or whatever, but we probably do something for the Elite Eight. So yeah, in 2 weeks. So yeah, man, definitely down the road, and definitely appreciate you, man. This has been a moment that we've been waiting for the last 2 years, man, and definitely glad that you came with us tonight, and appreciate you, man. And we'll catch you. Enjoy the games, and man, good luck to your Boilermakers, man.
Thank you. I mean, thanks for having me. Go follow me on Regan's Corner on YouTube. We're gonna have a couple of shows tomorrow talking about the brackets and a couple interviews. So stay tuned. I mean, and plus, the tournament's in Indiana. Who's best to know about the tournament in Indiana from a guy who's from Indiana?
Right. Right.
Yeah, man. So yeah, you know what? I'm gonna and since you're a guest on here, I'm gonna submit this bracket onto your bracket challenge. So I'll definitely do that either tonight or tomorrow. It's so crazy because now I'll be thinking, because games will start to Friday now, so it's like I can kind of, well, really Thursday, but in general I got a little time. So I'm gonna submit this one to you officially on your bracket challenge, and I'll have that up soon. But yeah, definitely appreciate you, Josh, and we'll catch you down the road, man.
We'll catch you.
All right.
All right, Zane.
All right, Josh.
All right. So yeah, man. So Definitely. You got that's crazy how I think Gonzaga gonna take it, man. For some odd reason, I got a feeling about that as well. But yeah, the tournament is here, man. Definitely excited for that. And this weekend, got wall to wall games, and I mean it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be
I
next.
can't believe you didn't say your team is in the tournament, right?
Yeah,
North Carolina
but
in the tournament, right?
yeah, but I think they probably going. I think they probably end up losing to Baylor.
Oh, okay.
I honestly, the Wisconsin one kind of gives me a little. I'm like kind of joshing. Well, no pun intended. Joshing with that about like talking all that trash, but I'm kind of low key. I don't even think we may not even make it to Baylor, honestly. Who knows? I'm just saying, like, I don't know, but I think I don't know. Wisconsin definitely is and that's why a part of me, this is gonna be kind of weird. I kind of wanted us to be a 10th seed because I wanted to avoid playing the number 1 seed. I really was like, and it's funny because I think that's how Virginia Tech. Because I think with us beating Virginia Tech, I think that's what put us over at 8 because it looked like going into the tournament we were gonna be a 10 seed, but then we ended up beating Virginia Tech, and so I think that's where it kind of flip flop where we became the 8th seed and they became 10th. So I think that's where, because like you said, because damn, I think about we could have beat Florida, but who's to say? But that's just here or there. But yeah, I wanted to avoid the number 1 seed. When I found out we was the 8th seed, I was like, damn. Because you want to go to Sweet 16, All right. But yeah, man. So definitely a great show, fellas, man. So I'm gonna go around the horn, man. Who gets this week's game ball? I'm gonna go with you first. Dad, who gets game ball this week for you?
Quickly, LeBron James. Another nice investment. He's showing that he's versatile, can do a lot of stuff on and off the court. Part ownership with the Red Sox, so that's a big deal. Shout out to him. More generational wealth.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, Dad, I like you. That's you my man. That's what I'm talking about. Just keep doing what you do. For me, man, I got 2. The very first one, what a boxing legend, former undisputed middleweight champion, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, passed away, held the title from 1980 to 1987. His record was 62-3-2 with 52 knockouts, 78% knockout, highest in middleweight division ever. He passed away unexpectedly at 66. They said he was the old school boxer. And he did it the hard way. He started off, lost a couple fights, and still made his way to greatness. He never gave up. He retired in 88 after a loss to Sugar Ray, split decision, and he made his way. He went to Italy, became an actor, but he left left everything in the ring. He could talk, speak, still wealthy. Not too many boxers that can do that. His 2 notable fights were one they called The War, which was against Tommy Hearns, and the second one was against his arch rival Sugar Ray Leonard, which he lost in a split decision. A lot of people say that he won the fight, but R.I.P. to marvelous Marvin Hagler. Also, I want to send love to my family. My little cousin passed away on Tuesday. Ain't too much I really could say. I just want to send love to them. It was a real tragic loss. Just want to send love. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So my game ball this week, it's going in the world of NASCAR. Going to Martin Truex Jr. Actually, no pun intended, but he is a part of Joe Gibbs racing team. But the really reason why I wanted to give a huge shout out to Martin Truex Jr. because essentially, Dad, I'm somewhat of a degenerate gambler. So I put a little money on Martin Truex Jr. to win the race in Phoenix last Sunday, and my $5 bet flipped to $55. So definitely a huge shout out to Martin Truex Jr. for giving me a steak dinner this week. Perhaps we'll see, but definitely huge shout out to him and the Joe Gibbs racing team, and definitely man. So,
hey, Coach.
Yeah,
I got a question.
Yeah.
What a troll at?
Huh?
What a troll at? What a troll at, man? Let's keep it real. The
it's
troll,
right here.
the troll. Yeah,
Hold on,
get the
hold on.
troll, man. The troll gave you good luck.
The garden gnome. I got you.
Yeah, let them know.
Oh yeah, the garden gnome.
There you go.
Yeah, man. It's official. It's official out here in these streets. Yeah, got the garden gnome, man. Yeah. So fellas, let's put a ball in this week's Couch Coach Live, man. Final thoughts. I'm gonna go around the horn. Thad, your final thoughts.
Nothing too much to say. Appreciate you guys having me on. Great episode. You guys can follow me at What the Game Means to Me podcast. Me and Jelani do a podcast every other week. Try to do it every week, but follow us. Stay tuned. We got some stuff cooking up, and once again appreciate you guys having me on. I look forward to being back in the future. Yeah,
man, always. And we got to get you and Jelani here together one of these days. We'll do a little, we'll cook something up. You know how it go down.
It's a great name, man. What's the name of the show again?
What'd you say?
What's the name of the show again?
What the Game Means to Me. Jelani came up with that actually.
That's great. I like that. That's fire. That's fire. For real.
Definitely huge. Definitely huge. Shout out to our little brother, Jelani.
Right.
Atlanta. Yo, so why they Regan? Why they call that man Emmanuel quickly?
I did see that. I guess because they New York Knicks fans.
Yeah, because the Braves. Yeah.
Yeah, not the Braves. He just got them. That was
man. Yeah, I was rolling, yo. I mean, I was in that joint tripping. Malware, your final thoughts.
And great episode. Like I said, man, I've had a little rough this week, and I got some good insight. Some teams to watch. I'm really excited. I like the detail that everybody went into with their brackets and who to look forward to. You know what I mean? So it's almost sometimes when you watch a tournament, it's almost like watching a movie. You know what I mean? They say, okay, this team right here, they're saying they should win the championship. So it's gonna be really interesting. I'm excited for this weekend. But great episode. You know what I mean? Great show.
Yeah. Yeah, man, definitely. A show that was 2 years in the making. Talking about the NCAA tournament, it felt very well. Felt great. Talk about the NCAA tournament, and it's going to happen. We're here. The bracket has been locked in place, so everybody will be traveling. UVA will be making their way on Friday. I think Kansas is good. I think they're going to be traveling soon, and yeah, we are here. The light is at the end of the tunnel. Especially for this NCAA tournament. We're going to have it. It's going to be fantastic. Follow the show on social media anyway. Get your social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram on the Couch Coach Live. Also, check us out on TikTok, where I do a little bit more videos this week. I think I've been a little slipping with the TikTok this week. So we're definitely posting stuff on TikTok. TikTok, hey, that's another thing too. Jelani was another one that was instrumental in as well, because he started doing it. He's been blowing up, like when he did the city jerseys.
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
him and Jeff. Him and Jeff kind of spearheaded my, as far as doing TikToks, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna start doing as well, and it's cool. It's a nice it's a different way of promoting the show, just having clips and having stuff, little content that people can follow the show. So yeah, it's cool. And also the website, couchcoachlive.com. Yeah, man. So definitely just tap in with us. Anywhere, social media. Check out the podcast. Anywhere you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple, you name it, we're there. YouTube page. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to that as well. Apple, leave us 5-star reviews. Just, show us some love, man. Definitely.
Right.
So yeah, man. So man, this has been this week's Couch Coach Live, man. We'll catch you guys next week.
You're welcome.